Hi everyone, I'm Virginia Killmore and welcome to my studio. Today is Case a Card Monday, which means we will be sharing or casing a card that I received and using that as my inspiration or starting off point for my design. Artists use design ideas from other artists all the time. It's just a very common way to get started, and sometimes when you're stuck, it's a great way to get going. So let's get started. So this is my card that I designed after I saw this beautiful card by Mary Knab. So let me zoom out so you can see Mary's card. This is Mary's card. And you can see I used the same colorations and papers, and I even used the circle design, but the way I laid it out was quite different. So it becomes my own design when you do something like that. Artists all the time do that. It's just a common way to get your juices flowing if you're having a hard time coming up with stuff. And since I am an art teacher, I always like to share those kind of tips because so many of us think that artists are totally able to come up with stuff all the time. I do not. I'm constantly inspired by amazing people out there, and I'm so lucky to be able to see so many ideas using the internet right now. So get out there and look at stuff, but let's get started with this card. So everything you need for this card will be right here, and I will start pulling some of it out so you can see it. I'm going to leave this here. I always post that list at the beginning of the presentation so that you can see. And I've gone ahead and already creased a piece of cardstock that's 8.5 by 5.5, and then scored it at 4 1/4. I have my piece of designer series paper, and as always, I'm always saving designer series paper. I am going to glue this to the back because no one's going to see that, and it's always my little tip to people. You don't need to use a full sheet of cardstock. You can punch a bunch of stuff out ahead of time, or I always just have a pile of cut up 4 1/4 by 5.5 pieces of cardstock, and then I just sort of fix it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And I can actually glue it down to my backing and go ahead and put it on my cardstock because most of the work is going to be done on this scrap piece of basic white. That's something new that's hard for me to say. I've called Whisper White, our white paper, Whisper White now for, 16 years. That's how long I've been a demo. And it's all of a sudden changed to a new name. So in case you don't know, we have new white paper. It's still white, but it's not called Whisper White. So there's my card front. Basically, I could do anything from here. I mean, this is a beautiful card right here. This paper makes it. It has in it Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather, and also Misty Moonlight, which would also been a beautiful paper to add in here. I had a really hard time deciding between the two, but I chose the Gorgeous Grape ribbon, so I thought that it would be best to stay in that color family. So now what I need to do is stamp and punch several components. So I'm going to start with my Highland Heather, and I'm going to stamp this piece. And I notice I didn't add my punches in there, so I may have to tell you about those. I think what I'm going to do is stamp it, and I'm going to try to stamp it on the other side and see if I like the lighter side better. Just because I thought it was a little dark when I looked at the card, but you know what? I do like the darker one, so I'm going to just stay with that. This is a problem when you're an artist. You're always changing things, and it makes it hard for people around you to follow along directions, but that's just my process. And so you're stuck with me. Now, I want you to take a notice at something that I did. Do you see the little dot that I put up there? When you get this stamp, let me get that stamp out. I love this stamp. It's called Circle Celebrations. I noticed in the case there were these little arrows right at the top of this. I don't know if you can see them right there and there. And that means those stamps are designed to go one on top of one another. So to do that, I had to mark them before I even took them out. I marked both my stamps at the top with a dot. That's hard for you to see because I can't line them up. There you go. So I have to remember that when I stamp this, I want to stamp that one right over it. And I'm going to stamp it in a darker color. So I want to do that right away. In fact, I'm going to leave this on here and switch to my Gorgeous Grape and ink this up and get ready to stamp it right away so that I don't accidentally make a mistake. You will see that it lines up, but it's hard to see with this stamp. So I'm just going to do the best job I can and be happy with what I get. And I'm not too unhappy with that. I actually did better than when I stamped it the first time. Now I'm going to take this that is designed to go inside this circle, and it's actually in a circular fashion. So I can just sort of line it up and stamp it. This stamp set is beautiful for collages and all kinds of stuff. I used it on some really pretty cards that I did for my, what do you call it, my swaps. I'm trying to find the card that I'm really proud of and I love. And of course, it's not going to be easy to find right this second. Here it is. I think I've showed this to you before, but I use this card a lot. I use what we just used for down here. And then there's these beautiful little, I don't know, starbursts that to me remind me of fireworks. That's what I use that for. And it's just great for collaging. So I'm going to leave the Gorgeous Grape open because we're going to need it. But now we're going to do some punching. And you're going to need the 2-inch punch, 2 1/4 inch punch, which I didn't put in the list. I do that every week. I think I got it all and then I forget something. Maybe I'll remember to do that. And then I need my, I think it's just 1 1/4. I'm trying to find it. Yep, 1 1/4 inch punch. And it's a retired punch. I didn't know that. See where the big R? So you can't even get it if you wanted to. Circle punches, though, are a dime a dozen. You can buy them anywhere. I just think our punches are so much better. I have punches that are literally 16 years old that I bought early on. So now I've got these two components to my card. I just need to make this. And this is a strip of cardstock. And I'm trying to find it. I thought I had put it out with this. There it is. So I have these strips sitting around all the time. They're left over from cutting cardstock or whatever, so I like to use them up. So now I'm going to use this 1 3/4 inch punch, and I'm going to slide this in there. I like to check the back side. The reason I like to check the back side is sometimes it doesn't line up perfectly, and I can see that it did this time. I'm going to save that little piece after I do my stamping. This is my favorite little tip that I saw online. I'm going to try to line that up and get it stamped nice and straight. I'm going to give a little space to this. Okay, and now I'm going to use this piece to help me cut the rest of the card. So I'm going to look at here and try to line it up that way. And once I'm happy, I can either use a pencil or me, I'm just too lazy to take the time to do that. I'm just going to cut a piece. And now it's super important because when I slide this in, I can't really see what's happening over here. So I can see already that this sort of slid over a little bit. I'm going to just nudge it a little bit with my scissors, cut it, and that piece should now be equally spaced from the edge. And I'll save this piece for another time. So I have the 1 1/4 inch circle punch, the Lovely You Many Labels punch, and the 2 1/4 inch punch that I use that I'll have to add to my list if I can remember. And so now all that's left to do is close this, because we all know what happens to me when I leave that open. And I'm going to make a bow with my Bow Easy, and I promise I won't go too fast so you can follow along. So I'm going to lay that across and start here on the left side, come through, go up through this little notch. If I can get it through there. This gauzy ribbon is a little bit, there you go. So I got it through. Now this is the trick that's the hardest. We're going to go up through here. We're not going to go in through here. It looks like you should go through there, but it won't work. You have to go up and around. And then I just pull straight up, and I have a perfect bow every time. If you're ever in need of a Bow Easy, I sell them. They're $8 shipped to your home. I buy them from the lady who originated them. She passed away. Her husband still sells them. And I just feel good about buying something that's made in the USA. So we're ready to put it together. So that wasn't too bad. This card isn't really a hard card. I just love all the layers and the circles and all the fun stuff. Always like to make sure that I got the card opening right, because how many times have you put a card together and then realized you put it together the wrong way? Okay, I am going to dimensional this. I didn't on the first one. I didn't really actually mean to dimensional it here, but oh well. And this one I'm going to put glue there and just one dimensional over on this back side of it, because I want it to be glued to the top part, but I don't want it to be taller. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here. Now it sits on there really nicely. I have my bow, which I'm going to use a glue dot with. I am starting a tip thing on my Instagram page, and last week I showed you how to tie this bow and how helpful it is. So if you take a look at my Instagram page, which I'll have somewhere, I'll show you how to get the glue dots set. Oh my God, I have such a hard time with words. It's embarrassing sometimes. So I love that little tip, and I'm going to try to start weekly tips. They're quick and easy. You can just catch them on Instagram. And I don't know, they're supposed to post to my Facebook page. So if you're watching this on Facebook, you should be able to see that as well. So play around with where you want that. And then the last thing is to use a little bit of these pretty pearls. They're called Pastel Pearls. They're part of the Hydrangea Hill paper that we use today, which I never even showed you, did I? I get in such a hurry. I hate to waste your time, so I'm always in a hurry. Hydrangea Hill paper. We used this side of this paper. I love this. It's so watercolory. And it goes with all of these colors: Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Rococo Rose, and Seaside Spray. So lots of pretty colors. I don't own the Hydrangea Hill set yet, but I think I will soon. So I'm going to take 2 pearls, put them on either side of this. I always like to do that with this lovely U punch. I think it's so pretty. It just makes it look like a, I don't know, a tab or a tag. And then one right in the center of my flower. And there you have it. There's today's card. I hope you enjoyed. Now, tomorrow is the live Tuesday class online, and I have sent out some kits to people. We will be making this card. If you would like to know what you need for that class, I'm going to very quickly lay this out, but I also send emails out to people for coffee and cards tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning. So if you'd like to join me, gather these items, and we'll make the card tomorrow. I'll also be posting it at the top of my Facebook page later today. So I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Move this over so you can see them both. At 10:30 Facebook Live. C there or be square. Bring your stuff because we'll make it together. It'll be fun. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.